Ahoy, duelists! It is I, Hellgear, and look at what I found. I had to literally go through my card inventory, dust this off. It's this old fire deck of mine, right? I remember these sleeves. I was like, wait a minute. This was one of my fire decks, wasn't it? And then I remembered my fire decks. I'm like, I had two fire attribute decks, and one was the dragon, and that's in dragon sleeves. And I was like, okay, this is my old volcanic deck from back in the day. I used to play this at locals and at school, like in the early 2000s. This is some, man, Yu-Gi-Oh was such a simpler time back in the GX era. I literally had to dust this off. I was like buying some volcanic cards, like, you know, in anticipation of the Fire Legendary Duelist pack that's coming up. And then I saw this deck with the dust on it and the sleeves. And I was like, you know what? Let me take a look at this old volcanic deck of mine. Because, you know, we're still in the hype of new volcanic support coming up in the Fire Duelist pack. So we got, Jesus, let me zoom out a bit. So let's see here. DD Trap Hole. I remember using this stuff, man. Like, this was some fun stuff. I don't even remember everything that's in this. Spiritual Fire Art Karenai. I remember using this. This is like one of the coldest burn-based decks. Raging Flame Sprite, because I had the fire structure deck, right? Magic Jammer. You can tell this is old school because we're using Magic Jammer to negate spells. We don't use this card anymore. Blaze Accelerator. Level Limit Area B and A. I covered all the bases, man. This was some fun stuff. Like, Incandescent Ordeal. Oh my goodness, I remember this. One of my friends who used to do, like, Duel Monsters fan fiction, he had a fire duelist in his crew that ran all ritual monsters, but he couldn't find a fire ritual monster. I'm like, hey, let me write one chapter. I got a fire ritual monster, and this Incandescent Ordeal. And this is the ritual spell for a fire spellcaster, I believe it's called Legendary Flame Lord. And there was some fun stuff. Look at this, Tri-Blaze Accelerator. Look at that. This is the super rare of this. Like, I found out later. Wait, is this a super rare? Yeah, this is a super rare. Like, I found out later, like volcanic decks, we got Wildfire right here. I'll get to that in a moment. Like, volcanic decks, even for fun nowadays, they don't even use Tri-Blaze Accelerator to upgrade off of the regular Blaze Accelerator. Because you would literally just take one of these and then you would go into this. Oh man, good times. Good times. Like when Yu-Gi-Oh was fun. Wildfire with a Blaze Accelerator to blow things up. Solar Flare Dragon, yup. Everybody looks at the frog deck for the stalls when Solar Flare Dragon did it first. It's Flame Ogre, Ultimate Baseball Kid, wow. This was, again, I have the Fire Structure deck from back in the day too, so we had some of that in here. Scattershot, yup, because people are using this in Sprite. Element Dragon, I remember this guy. You got the boost because of the fire, right? Yup. You get 500 extra attack points for each fire monster that's on the field. Yup. Jar Greed for draw. Another Blaze Accelerator. Another Scattershot. See, here's the Legendary Flame Lord right here. This is the monster. This is the Fire Ritual Spellcaster, by the way. And it's a level 7. We don't want to talk about Kashtira using level 7 ritual monsters, right? How does this work again? You got a special summon with Incandescent Ordeal. Tribute monsters with 7 stars. Each time you or your opponent activates a spell, place a spell counter on this card. Remove 3 spell counters from this card to destroy all monsters on the field except this card. So you literally nuked the board with this once you had 3 spells counters. Dimension Wall. Somebody on one of the Yu-Gi-Tubers got mad because somebody cheesed them out of like a final blow and they used this trap on Master Duel for him, and they ended up losing. And they're like, who uses this? Flame Ruler for the easy fire tribute monsters. Inferno Incinerator. This was just an easy special summon for fire monsters. I think you need to wipe out your whole deck. But a 2800 body on a level 6 monster, we knew that was good. So what if it cost us our hand? We had a 2800 monster. Volcanic Shell. Yep. House of Champs was just talking about the market, how much the ultimate rare of Volcanic Shell is going for. I actually looked up some of these. There's another Wildfire. I looked these up. The Gemini Monster King Pyron. Is this a common? Yes, it is. Soul of Fire is a super rare, though. This was actually fun. Like, House of Champs recently did Volcanic Monster prices. Gravity Bind. Necklace of Command. I remember this. Space. Element Valkyrie. You also got the boost for fire monsters, right? Yes, you did. So like Element Dragon, you got the boost off of fire. Here's my ultra rare Volcanic Doomfire. It's not first ed, but it is Force of the Breaker bound, man. These old cards. I just had them in these sleeves. They got the bow on them. You can tell this has been a while because look at the card, man. It's got the bowing. But you know, we got heavy books, so you sit these under a heavy book for about an hour or so, it'll straighten right out. Somebody in the comments said that cards bow like this because of the moisture in the air. Another Raging Flame Sprite, another Solar Flare Dragon. Flame Cerebrus, man. This was such an old school, man. Back in the days, we just built decks for fun with whatever cards we had. That's why the Rose Dragon deck feels so good with us, because that was like the plant deck that we just took whatever strong ass plants that we had and we just made it and added Black Rose Dragon to it. Blazing Impachi. I remember the Impachis. Volcanic Slicer. This card actually, and this is first edition, this is the rare. You know this card goes for almost $5 right now on TCG Player? This right here. It's not even the ultimate rare version of Volcanic Slicer. And it's actually one of the tougher ones. It's 1800. What is this? Once per turn, inflict 500 damage to your opponent, but you cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. Okay, so that's not too bad. Like a blaster. Look at this. Axel Brody was just so badass, man. His dual disc was a gun. It's like, that is so cool. His literal dual disc was a gun. I'm showing you guys this because maybe one of these days, Molten Destruction, yup, that fire attack point boost. I'll probably use this like a blueprint to update a Volcanic deck profile. Granted, we get some new Volcanic cards because, you know, we need that. Volcanic Rat. This is the one Volcanic monster nobody used in the Volcanic decks, man. It's a level 1. It's a vanilla Pyro, but it's a level 1. Like, when you look at Sun Avalon and they use their level 1 vanilla and start full combo, it would be cool if the upcoming Volcanic support let us use Volcanic Rat like that. Another blaster. Volcanic Recharge. This, like I said, this just takes me back. Dust Tornado. Yep. Back when Imperial Order wasn't banned. Like, so many of the other like spell card users, like Spell Canceller, what is it? I think it was one of the Silent Swordsmen prevented you from using spells. So you needed something to hit the back row, and Dust Tornado did that. Another Spiritual Fire Art. Look at this, Charcoal Impachi. Look at the defense on this level 1. 2100 defense. You know, in today's metagame, we look at attack points and stuff like low-level monsters and high-level monsters. We don't play mid-level monsters unless they're like significant mid-level monsters like Cyber Dragon or something like that, right? Look at this, 2100 defense. You know, cards with big butts with a lot of racks in the back. Duelists don't use these anymore. like Melfi Rabby. That's one of the reasons why I like Melfi Rabby. 2100 defense, man. And you know what you know how Rabby got powered up. Like, hammer! For all my S-Scribe fans out there. This. Like Destalos the Firestorm Monarch. We got Mega Monarch in one of the Ghosts from the Past. D-Wall and then Tornado. Because you can only have one Mystical Space Typhoon. And you needed more back row hits. This one, if your opponent had 3 cards in their back row, you can hit the back row. But it was fun. Man, this was a good trip down memory lane. And I just recently bought some secret rare Doomfires and some more rockets and I think a counter and the trap card Blaze Accelerator. So it's going to be fun updating the Volcanic deck, man. Oh, this was a nice time capsule to share with all of you guys. Just a little bit of Duel Monster stuff as we feed off of the Volcanic hype. This is from like early 2000s. So of course in today's game this deck is trash. But I wanted to share this with you guys anyway. Let me know what you think of my old school time capsule Volcanic deck in the comments section below. Remember to like, sub, and bell. We're trying to get to 2,000 subs. But for now, I take my cards to the box because I'm done. Bye-bye, everybody. This was some good times.